Alright, good morning everybody. Let's all stand up and start off with a few full body stretches. So we're going to start with our feet nice and wide, toes slightly pointing outwards. Nice deep breath in, reaching up tall. And as you breathe out, coming down, straight down towards the floor. Letting your chin come towards your chest as we let that upper body flop forward. Stretching out through the back of the legs and the lower back. Coming up, nice deep breath in, reaching up. And breathing out, coming down. Trying to get down that little bit further with each time we repeat this stretch. Really just allowing those muscles to lengthen out, stretch out with each repetition. Coming up nice and tall, deep breath in. This time we're going to come down towards one foot, so reaching down to one foot. Chin to your chest, walking your hands across the ground to the other foot. And then coming up, so taking it around in a circle, we'll go around again, so down to that same foot. Walking the hands across the ground to the other foot and up. Let's take it in the other direction, so back the way you just came, down towards that foot. Walking the hands across the ground and up. And one more. Walking across the ground and up. Alright, I want you to bring your hands behind your back, interlocking your fingers. We're going to come down into one more forward bend, but as you do, bringing your hands up behind you as high as you can. See if you can pull them over your head, getting a bit of a stretch out through the front of the shoulders, and then release, standing up. One more, coming down, chin to chest, pulling those arms as far overhead as you can. And release, standing up. All right, we're going to stretch out our hips, our ITBs, by bringing one foot over the other. So if we all take our left foot over and put it in front of our right foot, we're going to reach down towards the right foot, so the back foot. And our focus is pushing that right hip out to the side so we get our stretch through that right hip. You can pop your hands on your knee for balance if that helps you more, but really focusing on pushing out that right hip so we get the stretch through that hip of the back leg. This is one of the best stretches for the ITB. If you've ever been told you've got ITB issues, this is one that can certainly help you. Let's go for the other side. So popping the right foot in front, left foot at the back, reaching down towards that left foot or back foot, pushing that left hip out to the side. And coming up. Alright, so I've got my assistant Pelvis Presley here holding my towels for me today. So you'll need a towel for today's session, whether it's a long one or a short one, that is up to you. I'm going for a long one because I'm feeling a bit stiff this morning. So I will get you to hold it on either end of your towel, popping it just underneath your toes. We're going to do a couple more forward bends. So I'll get you to relax down into your forward bend, reaching down towards your toes, chin to chest. Holding close to your feet with the towel, but no pressure on it just yet. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull upwards, try and raise our shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, pulling pressure on the towel to really get an increased stretch through our back, and then relax it back down again. Now each time we relax down, I want you to try and get that little bit further into your stretch. So pulling up against your towel, trying to press your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, rounding through the back, and then relax it forward again. See if you can drop down that little bit more so those muscles start to let go. Let's do one more, pulling up against your towel, chin to chest, rounding through that upper back, and relax it down. Okay, coming up, going going to pop your foot into the towel. We're going to come into a quad stretch. So bringing the foot up behind you. You can use your towel to pull your foot up towards your bum. If you do prefer doing this one without the towel, that's fine. You can drop your towel. But with our quad stretch, we want to try and pull our knees nice and close together, pressing forward through the hips to really increase that stretch through our quad. Trying to make the front of the leg nice and long there. Good test of the balance too. Alright, changing to the other side, so popping other foot into your towel and bringing it up behind. So if you are using the towel, just like me, you can try and pull the towel past you to really pull your foot up towards your bum, and then bringing those knees nice and close together, pressing forward through your hips to intensify that stretch. Excellent. Alrighty, for our next one, gonna just hold one end of the towel, taking it up overhead, bending your elbow down, and then with the other hand you're going to grab onto the back of your towel and pull it downwards. And what we're doing here is we're going to get a stretch through our tricep, maybe a bit through the armpit area as we pull down. You might also like to pull across, that might help increase your stretch a little bit, but we really want to try and open up through that tricep of our top arm. Triceps, that forgotten muscle that none of us really think about, but it does quite a bit for our shoulder and our arm. So it's always good to give it a bit of love as well. Let's change to the other side, so swapping hands over at the top, bend the elbow, reach behind with our bottom hand and pulling that towel down and across to get our stretch through the tricep. Release. Then we're going to hold on either end of our towel. So the longer the towel here, the easier it is as we just take our hands over behind our head. If you can't reach all the way down, that's fine. Just take it to as far as your shoulders will let you. We never want to force this one. Can dislocate your shoulder, so just take it through your comfortable range, so long as you're getting a little bit of a stretch through that shoulder joint. If the wide grip is too easy, you can certainly narrow it in a little bit. Go for a little bit more of a challenge. As we open up through the front of the shoulders. And then what I want you to do is I want you to hold just a little bit wider than your body width. And we're going to just take it straight up overhead, pulling back, opening up through those armpits, and then relax it back down again. Making sure we remember to breathe as we come into this stretch. And release. Let's do two more. Really reaching it back as far as you can, increasing each time. And release. Last one. Perfect. Alright, then we're going to pop our towel over our shoulder with one hand holding onto the front, other hand holding onto the back, and we're pulling downwards to help keep that shoulder nice and low as we take our ear towards our shoulder away from the towel. And what this is going to do is it's going to stretch out through our traps, that common area where we all hold stress and tension, and keeping that shoulder down nice and low to really help lengthen through those traps. Then while you're here, what I want you to do is just play with the angle of your chin. So by tilting downwards or upwards, you'll feel that stretch change as you target some different muscle fibers, different areas of the muscle. We're all tight in slightly different areas, so you need to find your angle of where you're tight and hold that stretch. Or if you're just tight everywhere, clearly you're going to have to hold this stretch for a really long time. And release. Coming up and over to the other side. So pulling down on that towel, ear to shoulder the other way. Keeping the pressure on that towel to help keep our shoulder down nice and low. As we stretch this, our shoulder will have the automatic response to want to creep up. Stretching isn't always comfortable. Finding that perfect angle for your chin of where you are the tightest. Alright, and release. I'm going to give my towel back to pelvis Presley. We'll come back to our towels later. I want you to go over and find yourself a flat bit of wall or empty space. We're going to just do a little bit of our shoulder range of movement. So with this one, we want to keep our back as flat as we can on the wall. It is easier to do it down in a squatting position to keep your back flat, but you can do it standing if you need to. So back is completely flat on the wall, lower back, upper back, shoulders, and then our elbows around about shoulder height if you can. And then the backs of your hands. We're trying to stay in 100% contact with the wall. It will depend on your shoulder mobility as well though. Once we come into this position, all you're going to do is try and lift those arms up as far as you can and then back down again. So trying to stay in contact with the wall the whole time, your arms, your back, taking it as much as you can, moving those arms as much as you can, to try and increase that shoulder mobility for our overhead mobility. Often quite a few of us are restricted with overhead stuff, so this is one thing that you can do to help increase it. So we're going to do 10 of these. I think we've probably already done about 5, so there's 6. Really focus on keeping in contact with the wall. 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. So if you struggle with that one, that's certainly one that you can do more of regularly throughout your day. Coming onto the ground, we're going to be kneeling. We're going to stretch out our hip flexors. So I'll get you to bring one foot forward, tucking your tailbone under and slightly leaning back to open up through the front of the hip. Then I'm going to get you to bring your hands behind your back and pull them down, pushing out through the chest. So we're also stretching out through our chest, front of our shoulders at the same time as well. Multitasking is great. Making sure we can feel the stretch in both of our areas, hips and chest. These are great stretches to do for posture, and it's also great to stretch out the hip flexors for lower back pain as well. Hip flexors can highly relate to lower back pain. So as we breathe out, we want to gently increase our stretches. You can push forward a bit more through the hips, really pulling down and back with those arms to open up through the chest. And then release. Let's go for the other side. So knee forward, tuck that tailbone under, slightly lean back, get our stretch through the front of the hip, then hands behind the back, pulling down. Whenever we stretch out our chest or front of our shoulders, we want to really pull those shoulders back, looking up. Push your chest out to really encourage that stretch out through the front. We're also rolled forward and hunched forward through our shoulders, so whatever we can do to try and reverse that will really help with our posture. Gentle increases of the stretch as you breathe out, pushing forward through the hips. Push those hands down even lower. And release. Coming down onto your hands and knees, we're going to do our shoot throughs. So what this is, we're taking one hand, we're going to reach it through our hand and our knee as far as you can, and then bringing it up. Your eyes follow your hand as you reach through and up. We're trying to keep our hips square to the ground so that the rotation is just coming through our spine. So we try and mobilize that mid-back area with a bit of rotation. And with each one, I really want you to try and think about reaching further and further and further. increasing that range of movement with each repetition. So for me, being close to this wall, I'm aiming to touch the wall with each rep. So make sure I'm getting my full range. All right, let's do the other side. So reaching through, eyes follow your hand, and up. Reaching through. Keeping those knees flat on the ground as we rotate through the spine. Reaching that little bit further with these last few. Lovely. All right, we're going to do our mermaid stretch now. So starting off with kneeling and then just falling off to the side so that our feet are out to the side of us. One hand on your shin, we're going to reach up and over towards our feet. We're opening up through our rib cage, through our side here as we reach up and over. And then nice and gracefully like a mermaid, coming down to the ground on the other side, reaching it up and over with that top hand, opening up through the other side. And you can use your core, your abs a little bit to help you come back over nice and graceful towards your toes, or your tail I should say, because we're mermaids. And down again. Really opening up, reaching over with that top hand as much as you can so you feel that stretch through the side of your body, coming back towards the toes and release. Let's do our other side. So flick the legs around the other way, and your tail around the other way, reaching towards, opening up through that rib cage, gracefully coming down to the ground, up and over. And over back towards our tail. And last one, coming down towards the ground, nice and graceful with those arms as we reach. And back up. Alrighty, releasing from that one. Okay, and next one we're going to be laying on our tummies. So, this is another one for the front of our shoulders, laying on your tummy with both arms straight out to the side. Now what we're going to do is, if I want to stretch out my right shoulder, I'm going to bring my left foot over behind my body, rotating towards that right shoulder, leaving it on the ground so that I can get the stretch through the front of the shoulder. So the further you can rotate yourself backwards, the more intense your stretch is going to be, really taking that foot over behind your body. And we'll release and come to the other side. So I'll bring my right foot over behind the body, rotating open to stretch out through the front of my left shoulder. And release. We're going to do it again, but I want you to play around with the height of your arms on the ground, because remember, each different angle will stretch a different area, so you might like your arms to be lower or higher. I'm going to go with higher as I open up to the side. And then the further you rotate, the more intense your stretch is going to be, but just find that perfect angle on the ground to get a great stretch through the front of your shoulder, wherever you're most tight. And release. Let's do the other side. So finding that angle, opening it out. And release. Okay, we're going to get our towels again. grab mine from Pelvis Presley. Remembering a shorter one will be a little bit more intense, but we're going to stretch out our legs a little bit more while we're laying on the ground. So I'll get you to pop one foot up through your towel, and that leg is straight up in the air. Our other leg is very tempting to keep it bent, but I want you to straighten it out, creating an extension of your spine with that leg. And now what we're doing is bringing all of our attention to this leg we're stretching. If the towel is over your toes, I want you pulling your toes towards you. And with each breath, we're thinking about pulling that leg towards us all the more to really get that stretch going through the back of the leg. Nice deep breaths. And as you breathe out, pull it towards you that little bit more. Keeping your toes pulled towards you so we get that stretch through the whole back of the leg. And nice lengthening out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your towel in one hand. We're going to open that leg out to the side. Our other hand just comes to the ground on the other side just to help us keep our balance. And then you're going to bring that upper leg up and over, swapping hands as you go to bring that leg down the other side to get that outer thigh, hip and lower back stretch as well as we rotate through the spine. And you can just alternate between these two, so opening out to the side, nice inner thigh stretch, just swapping hands as you go and keeping your free hand on the ground to help you keep your balance as you bring that leg up and over. If you find a really nice stretch, just hold it there. Otherwise, you can just keep on alternating for a nice general broad stretch. Alright, last one, bringing it across. Alrighty. Let's change legs, guys. So popping our other foot up into that towel. Our nice long stretched out leg is now laying flat on the ground. As we focus on our new leg, pulling it towards us, pulling your toes towards you as well. Getting that nice stretch through the back of the leg. Now do remember that in the ideal world, we do want to hold a stretch for at least 30 seconds. Our muscles are pretty stubborn and they need a bit of time to convince them to let go and lengthen. But we're going a little bit quicker today just to allow for whole body in half an hour. But the longer you can hold them for, the better. Alright, holding your towel in one hand and let's open it out to the side. And then bringing it across, swapping hands as you go to cross over the body. Getting that nice rotation through the lower back. Trying to keep both shoulders on the ground as much as you can with each of these as we just alternate between the two. Trying to take it that little bit further each time, increasing your stretch. And last one, bringing it over. And release. So what we're going to do for our last few minutes is a couple of minutes of relaxation, but I would like you to use your towel and roll it up into a small kind of bread roll, I suppose. Roll it up. We're going to use it as a neck rest. So we're going to pop that on the ground, and I want you to rest your neck on your towel, but in a way that our chin is pointing upwards. We don't want to rest on it like a pillow with our chin coming towards our chest. We want to be arching over it so that our chin is up towards the ceiling. And then just getting yourself nice and comfortable on the floor. So you might like to keep your knees bent, you might like to be straight, completely up to you, whatever's comfortable. a position where you can relax. You might feel a gentle stretch through your neck, that's okay. What I want you to do is open your arms straight out to the side so that we're not rolling forward through our shoulders. We've got that gentle falling outwards to think about our good upright posture. Alright, so for these last couple of minutes here, we're bringing our attention to our breathing, closing your eyes to try and take away all distractions. All your attention is focused on your breath. So nice and slowly in through your nose, all the way down to your belly as you feel it rise, and gently out through your mouth. Breathing in for the count of 4, and out for the count of 4. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Getting that control over your breath, the only thing we can control in this world. Once you've got that breathing under control, I want you to focus on your out breath. As you exhale, really feeling your body relaxing and melting with each breath. We want to loosen up, getting rid of any extra tension that we're holding in our muscles. Starting down with our feet, your toes, your arches and your ankles. Just letting them drop, soften and relax. Coming up to your knees, all those muscles that attach around the knees, just letting them go. Those knees are soft and relaxed. If I were to come and just kick your legs, they would fall over to the side. They're completely floppy. Nothing's holding them there. Unclenching through your glutes, relaxing all around your pelvis. Feeling your pelvis sinking into the floor. Our tummy is soft, just gently rising and falling with each breath. Our spinal muscles running up and down our spine. They're relaxing into the ground, just feel them melting. They don't need to do anything right now, they've got nothing to support, they can relax and let go. Depending on how tight you are through your shoulders, you may feel a gentle stretch in the front of your shoulders as our shoulders fall open. Our arms are heavy on the ground. Fingertips are floppy. Any residual tension just running out of those fingertips and leaving the body. You might still be feeling that gentle stretch through your neck. That's okay. We're trying to counteract all of that looking down at the phone you do. Letting go of any tension you're holding in your jaw. Unclench your jaw. Your forehead and your eyebrows relax. We don't need any new wrinkles there today. Now that our body is feeling like it's floating, let's bring our attention to our mind, our thoughts. Clear out any of those unwanted thoughts. We are starting our day fresh. What happened yesterday doesn't matter. We have a new start today. You've started your day in a fantastic way by doing this stretching, and you'll be feeling great to face your day with all the energy that you need. I'm hoping it'll be a successful day. You'll get all of your tasks that you need to done. For our last couple of breaths, you may like to hug your knees in towards your chest just to stretch out that lower back a little bit more. Otherwise, you can stay relaxed on the ground. Nice deep breath in and breathing out. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Enjoying this last few moments of peace and calm. When you're ready, you can hop up or you can stay here a little bit longer, completely up to you. But I hope that this session has helped and you're able to continue your day with less pain than what you started with, and I'll see you again next time. Alright.